Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here to provide an update on the impending snowstorm that's going to affect Westchester County. I'm joined by the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works and Transportation, Hugh Grecian, also our Acting Commissioner of the Department of Emergency Services, Richard Wishney, and the Deputy Commissioner in the Department of Emergency Services, Susan Spear. We have a number of professionals out there in Westchester County that are preparing to deal with this, and as many as our county employees are every one of the 45 cities, villages, and towns that are also preparing for this moment, as they have certain very specific responsibilities, and also the state of New York, the Department of Transportation, and other related departments that will also provide certain services. The weather report itself at this hour, in the 12 o'clock hour on Wednesday the 16th, a winter storm warning is now in effect for the entire area that we reside in through Thursday morning from this point forward. The likelihood of sleet and rain mixing in the snow across the areas of our region, as well as the neighboring regions of Long Island, Connecticut, and so forth, is going to start on Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening, continue overnight. There are coastal flood advisory and watches that are in effect for Wednesday evening through Thursday, particularly important in the Sound Shore communities from Pelham to Portchester, as well as river conditions all along the western side of Westchester County. The reports at this stage say that there will be heavy snow between 12 to 18 inches north and west of New York City. That, of course, includes areas that are mountainous to our west on the other side of the Hudson River. But we do believe that we will see snowfall rates of 1 inch to 3 inch per hour, which is really a tremendous amount of snow coming down in a relatively limited period of time. In addition, there are going to be strong winds, 20 to 35 miles an hour, gusts up to 50 miles an hour along the coast, and inland, slightly less but still significant, 15 to 20 miles an hour winds with gusts of 30 miles per hour. There will be some concern about blizzard conditions at times, certainly in the heart of the snowstorm in the late evening hours and overnight hours. We would expect to have impassable conditions for quite a while, inability to get proper visibility. We are fortunate that the snowstorm appears to be most impactful after the evening rush hour and before the morning rush hour. So it may create difficult conditions tomorrow morning to go about your business, and you may find, depending on how long your commute is when the snow actually starts, some infringement upon your evening rush hour, but most of the snow will occur overnight. So obviously the most practical advice that can be given is stay off the roads, stay home, be safe as you can. Since we are now speaking in the 12 noon hour, we have at least 4 hours, if not as many as 6 hours before the snow starts. If you have the available time, make sure that you are doing the prudent things that you know you need to do. Fully charge your cell phones. Make sure that you have sufficient water. In your car, have a blanket, have water, have some snacks, just in case later tonight you are traveling and you find that you're stranded. And if you are, the Westchester County Police will be policing the parkways of Westchester County. The state police will police the interstate highways, the throughways, but you still know that there are going to be many more stranded individuals potentially than there are police to come and save you. So you want to be prepared, if you do find yourself in that situation, to stay warm in your car, particularly if the heat is off. You should have a blanket, you should have hydration, you should have some nutrition. At home, try to make your home as least subject to the winds that may occur. You know how much wind you might get on your property. If you have outdoor furniture, if you have things on an outdoor deck, remove them off the deck to make sure that they don't become flying projectiles, which could cause damage to property and potentially to individuals. Westchester County government has certain specific responsibilities during this period of time. Your local governments have what is considered probably the most obvious responsibility, which is the clearing of local roads. The vast majority of streets that you and I would drive up and down in any of our communities are plowed by your local DPW, and that means your village, your town, or your city. It is not the county's direct responsibility to do that. We do have the responsibility for the Bronx River Parkway, and we have responsibility for the Grasslands Reservation in Valhalla. That is the complex that includes the county jail, Westchester Medical Center, which is not run by the county government but is placed there. We have some other operations out there as well, our labs and research building, our police and fire academy. All of those will not be operating at the time of night that the snow is going to be heaviest. But we have the responsibility to clear the Bronx River Parkway and that campus. We also have the responsibility to clear our various parks and our office building, parking lots, and things of that nature. Since this is an overnight storm, there are parts of our park systems that are fairly remote that will be a low priority for us as we make sure we take care of those major things. Commissioner Grecian is going to talk about the Westchester County Airport, which we have responsibility for, and also the Beeline bus system, which we have responsibility for. Commissioner Grecian.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. First, the airport. The airport right now has limited flights commercially. The last flight going out will be at 5:55 today. It's a JetBlue flight, but please check with your courier. There will be no American flights today. We fully suspect that will be open during that takeoff. The airport not only plows, but we also sweep during a storm event. So at no point does the airport have any more than an inch of snow on the runway itself. We keep that open during the night also for emergency flights might coming in. The only time that we might close is during actually a whiteout period. But for the most part, that airport is functional throughout the night and the morning. The first flight out tomorrow is a JetBlue at 10:15. Again, check with your courier, but we fully expect to have the runway clean by then because we stay on top of that constantly, plow during the night, additionally sweep during the night, which you don't do on local roads or highways. So we have confidence that we'll keep that open for emergency flights and private flights coming in. Also, FBOs, anybody else can land. That's their choice. That's their those are FAA decisions on clearance and also visibility. Westchester County Beeline, we've made the decision as of 7 p.m. tonight. We're going to suspend the normal routes. However, that doesn't mean we're going to do it out of service at 7 p.m. All those routes will complete their routes after 7 and go. And so if you'll still see county buses on the road at 8, and they'll be available until those routes are completed. So we want to give everybody a heads up so we can plan the evening. You should not be on the roads tonight. One thing good about this storm, if there's anything good about it, it's during the night. And we can get out there with our crews and we can clear the roads for your morning commute. But if there's any way you can work from home, a lot of people are doing it anyway, please do that. You do not want to get in an accident tonight because of emergency services, as the county executive already mentioned. So, again, if you can work from home tomorrow, certainly tomorrow morning, please do. And by midday tomorrow, we should be in good shape.
Thank you. If there are any other updates on the county airport, if we do reach a point at which it has to be closed, we generally don't like to do that because there may be a distress flight coming from some distance that will still have to land. They'll have to have a place to land. They may only have sufficient fuel to make it to Westchester. We try our best not to close it, but we know the air traffic will drop down dramatically. If something like that happens, we will inform the press. We will inform the various media, electronic and print media as well, so that they're aware of those decisions should we get to that point. I doubt that it'll happen, but it might be. And if there are any changes to our Beeline bus system service as well, we'll make those announcements as well. And thank you, Commissioner, for staying on top of those issues. When I mentioned before earlier the responsibility for the Bronx River Parkway, that also falls under Commissioner Grecian's responsibility. If there's a closure of the Bronx River Parkway, which might occur, that will be announced by whatever mechanisms we have. And if you are driving, and you really should not be, but if you are driving late at night, be aware that everything will take longer. It will be more treacherous driving. And if by necessity you have to be out on the road, be prepared that we might have to close the Bronx River Parkway. It tends to flood. It is narrow. It tends to become impassable more quickly than, say, an interstate highway would. So factor that into your travel plans, just as he advised. Factor into your travel plans if you use the Beeline bus this morning to get to your destination and you intend to return by the Beeline bus system, you need to do it in time for that last run, that 7 o'clock plus run that's going to happen. So thank you again, Commissioner. Also in the practical world, we wanted to let you know that the Westchester County Police are responsible, as I alluded to before, for policing the parkways, and that would be Bronx River, Cross County, Hutchinson River Parkway, Sawmill River Parkway, Cross Westchester Parkway, which is a fairly small route. However, our patrol routes, while they'll be beefed up tonight, and they'll be responsible for helping stranded drivers. They will be taxed to the maximum. And once the snow becomes very difficult, it'll be just as hard for our police officers to get to and from the situations they need to get to and from. So we encourage you, don't test the system beyond what is necessary. Do not drive if you don't have to drive tonight. Stay off of the roadways. That's just the best possible policy unless it is absolutely necessary. Our Emergency Services Department provides dispatch responsibilities for various departments around the county. The Emergency Services Department will respond to certain types of emergencies should they occur. We hope that we won't have any particular incident outside of the norm that would happen tonight, but if they do happen, we have the crew and the management team available to handle that. I'm going to ask Acting Commissioner Richard Wishney to talk briefly about our EOC structure and also emergency services, along with Deputy Commissioner Susan Spear. Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Okay. In anticipation of the significant storm that's is about to enter our region, we have activated 24-hour service of our Emergency Operations Center. We've been operating the Emergency Operations Center in response to the COVID-19 events from 8 to 4 every day. We've had virtual communication with all of our partners during that process. But now with the storm, we'll continue our operations from 4 o'clock this evening until whatever the storm requires us to respond to. We have notified Con Edison and NYSEG to have representatives in person at the Emergency Operations Center. We have also made points of contact with the American Red Cross, Altice, and Verizon. We have notified various county departments of our government to be prepared to respond at any time during the event. We have people that are ready, able, and available to do that service. We have sent out communication to all of our local governments indicating that we are available to help in any way necessary, and all of the local communities have the necessary contact for the Department of Emergency Services and direct communication with our Operations Center. I think that should bring us up to date. Susan, do you have anything? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Counselor. Yes.
For our friends in the press, we will be available through Catherine Chaffee, Director of Communications. If we have any changes in any of the things that the county is directly responsible for, we will update you. We'll make an outreach, usually using email, text messaging, so that you're aware of it. And for those who want to check in to see what updates there are, check into westchestergov.com, which is our website, and we will try to let you know in real time. So as I close off this update, let me just remind the very practical things that we should do. Write it down. I'm doing the same thing. Gas up your car. Have a full tank of gas whenever you leave, wherever you work, or whatever you're doing today. Stop by, gas up your car. Have a full tank of gas in your car. Go into the little gas and go grocery store, get some water, get a couple of snacks, put it in your car. If you have a blanket at home, put it in your car. You might have to evacuate your home, be in your car, you don't know, and you want to be able to stay warm in your car if that's necessary. Make sure that if your windshield washers are not 100%, stop by, pick up a pair of windshield washers. They're easily replaced on your windshield, and you'll make sure that you have as best visibility as you can, knowing that we're going to have poor visibility tonight. And, of course, stay tuned to the various medium, electronic medium, most likely, those online and what have you, that will give you any updates if anything serious is going to happen. We have storms like this every year. We have them a couple of times a year. This is not the first time that it's happened in Westchester County. We have always gotten through them. We will get through this as well. We are hardened, tough New Yorkers. We know what we're doing. But since you know what to do it so that you don't have a challenge. And sometime tonight when you're on the road where you shouldn't have been and somehow you ran out of gas and you have no water in the car and now you're wondering if the county police are going to come by and find you, let's avoid that moment if we can. So thank you very much for your diligence. We will update you if there's any important news to tell you. Absent that, be prudent, stay safe, and we will give you an update tomorrow on our COVID situation and try to communicate as we can between now and then. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.